Having flux meet and flashback.
Yeah.
So Skeeter is testing the Zoom meeting, that's why you hear that. And,
Yeah, I can hear you guys.
Good, and Don's going to dial in from his desk, so he'll speak something, we'll make sure the recording piece works. Okay.
I'm on as well. Hi, everybody.
Oh, hi, Jim.
Now you know.
Jim and Sid.
Hello.
Matt's on vacation.
Hi, Jim. Hi, Mike.
Hello.
How you guys doing?
Good. We can get started. Matt Moore has joined us as our guest speaker today from procurement. Matt, you want to start?
Sure. Ann asked me yesterday if I wouldn't mind just kind of sitting in as one of our, operational groups, just to kind of talk a little bit about kind of where I see procurement going and kind of what I've been doing over the last few months and the role that, I see IS helping with. And honestly, I didn't really have a lot to say other than, you're already helping me with so many different aspects of things I'm trying to accomplish from an operational standpoint. And I had heard someone say once, not too long ago, that as an organization, we're incredibly data rich, but we're incredibly analytics poor. And one of the goals that I've been trying to do down in procurement in my very limited tenure there, it's I think barely 7 months, is really trying to leverage the information that I know we have in our systems, in our, whether it's in design review or JDE or contract manager, to really allow for a much more proactive, engaged procurement where we're able to kind of go hand in hand in lockstep with construction and design and our other clients to be in a position where we're able to kind of proactively manage problems before they occur. And a lot of the requests that I've had over the last few months have been incredibly well received. Dave's been invaluable. Paul, Gene, Jamie, everyone has just been incredibly helpful as I'm trying to get my arms around, kind of that aspect of what my ask is. And I'll continue to have the same ask, which is if I'm trying to find better ways to pull the information that I know we have out of our systems and put it in a format where it's more meaningful to staff, as opposed to a fixed report that gets run out of JDE. I'd love to see more, dashboards, more Excel reports where you can do better filtering and really kind of hone in on, where the problems are, or kind of refine it or manipulate it and use it. I think we've got more reports out on the intranet that I don't know that anyone really uses because they're not really user friendly. And and that's where I've really been blessed with people who are very helpful. And I know I haven't sat in on a lot of the CM conversations, but I think a lot of what I'm hearing from CM is the utility of that will be very much in lockstep with this discussion. There'll be a lot more workflow, a lot more dashboards, internal routing. So a lot of what we're trying to cob together now and from the disparate systems will be built into the system, and my guess is once we figure out what we can do, there will be a lot of asks to leverage that information and help take it down even greater paths. I think the biggest issue that I've seen in procurement is the very much the siloed nature of programs where each of the groups kind of function autonomously without really understanding how they interact with construction or design, or even within procurement between professional services and construction contracts. So the technology asks that I'm going down is to help to really bring those walls down so that it's really kind of functioning as one cohesive group where we're we're collaborating as opposed to reacting.
So more workflow, collaboration.
Yeah.
dashboards.
Yeah, more of the same. And part of the problem is I don't really know all of the systems and the data that we're tracking. So I'm sure once I know more about what we're tracking, there'll be additional requests to help get it. So, but, no, your team's been great. They've been amazing, and I just can't say enough.
Any questions we have for procurement?
All right.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
And if I can ever be of service, please just, swing by, do it. It's the least I can do.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Okay. So maybe we get through the active projects list. Every month we pick few projects to go through in these meetings, so everyone gets an update. Our big one, Flux.
On Flux, the project is moving along. Changed our target date right now, just based on the work back and forth and the processes that are involved in trying to make sure we capture everything that we need. We're shooting for towards the end of June right now. We've got a lot of different people involved. We've had the grants administration, Rick and Ann, Chad and Ann have been just busy testing away and giving support and ideas for the system, things they need. Rick and, has done a great job in our area in terms of the different data migrations that he's had to do. Chad spent a lot of time with them. Heidi, Nick, Katie Seberg, everybody's got just a lot of different people from a lot of different areas. So it'll be a big improvement when the system's in. It's going to encompass, we're going to use DocuSign, the automatic document SOPs and that. Will's been working with some where the grantees can sign some of the grantee paperwork automatically through the internet, I guess. We're working right now on the email piece where we're going to be able to email automatic reminders and email different things to the grantees and also to us, just to let us know how the documents and the grants moving through the system, as well as just the paperwork. Let's see. It's going to be able to generate some of the documents and automatically fill in some of the pieces of information, a grantee's name and numbers and things like that, which would be real helpful. The nice thing about this system is the grantees will be able to log on as well and kind of keep better track of how their grants coming along and where it sits money-wise and things like that. So, like I said, we got a lot of different people spending a lot of time on it. The grant staff spending just a tremendous amount of time. Nick Zarelli and Heidi have spent just a tremendous amount of time trying to figure out the pieces that they need to automate the process a little more. So it's moving along. Like I said, we're targeting towards the end of June for the implementation of it. I think it'll be a big improvement from the homegrown system that we've been using for 18, 20 years.
How are the external users going to get accounts to log on?
They're going to send the grants area will send them an email for them to sign up.
Self-registration.
Well, yeah, they'll register after they get an email from us. They'll have to get an email from us first to say, here's your link to be able to register and create a user profile.
And if they can they lock out their account? Or
Sure, they can lock out their
I think
account.
Will
Yep.
told me that, right? So, and if they had to reset it, they can do it themselves, self-service? Or?
We're working back and forth on that, figuring out the best method to do that.
CM replacement, Mike, Paul. Mike.
Okay, from what I understand, that they've narrowed it down to one company, PM Web, and they're scheduled to go see them up right up the road from you guys there in Global Foundries and some other firm to actually take a look at the product. And then once that happens, I guess they'll make a decision whether or not to move on to procure that product and then move on from there. And I have no idea what timeframes are involved or anything of that nature. All I know is they've narrowed down to one individual product, which is PM Web.
Good, that's great news.
Yeah, I don't think we have dates yet on the site visit yet.
Just working on the scope of the site visit.
So somebody in Global Foundries uses this application?
Yes.
Okay,
Global
they are,
Foundries.
oh,
Yeah, and Goldman Sachs was the other location that, we're not exactly sure where that would be. But, construction, PM Web is their first choice, and if these two visits they don't encounter anything that, then that would change their mind, then that's where we're heading. We're not visiting any other sites, any other software right now. Only PM.
After the demos, we had 4 in for the demo. 1 was just terrible, and they dropped off. Then the other 3, the first one, PM Web, the scoring differential was so large between them, and then the second and third, which were fairly tight, that they thought as long as the outright favorite worked out okay, then what was the point in going to visit all 3? But we do have 2 other firms that everyone liked the product, just not as much as PM Web. So if things go well, then Steve and I will likely visit their headquarters and ultimately move into contract negotiations if they continue to perform well.
SharePoint Online, we are in a very preliminary stage of planning. Do you wanna?
That's pretty much where we are. We started looking at it after that last outage because we realized we should probably be working through SharePoint Online so it's available externally and a little more reliable. Also, we've started to get requests from people who want to have critical documents available outside of DASNY in case they need to get to it or in case of a disaster. So we've started looking at that. There's a couple obstacles. We have to have a change to how Active Directory is implemented, so that would be Ed and Rob. I think if they're looking into that to see if it's feasible. And then otherwise, I don't know if you want to talk about what you were thinking about as far as how to redesign it.
I'd love to. It's really just, I'm looking at potentially doing it away with the breakdown of division department and more of a kind of a broad construction project style, bond style communication, and then like an employee section. So it's a little bit more driven by the content versus the department and division breakdown. So people do tend to have a hard time finding information on the intranet. So we'll see how it goes.
It's more like the DASNY or external stuff.
Yeah, so a little, more, purpose driven than department driven, so. Well, yeah,
So if anyone has ideas, we can share with you.
yes, that would be great, yeah. Anything that could be improved upon the current intranet, any ideas, yep.
Yeah, so we have this opportunity when we go online, move from our SharePoint on-prem. There is an opportunity to redesign our intranet. So we have this one-time chance so we can share our thoughts with Will and Jamie as they develop a plan for SharePoint Online. Okay, thank you. Seeker review application.
Yeah, we had it a couple of weeks back. They requested more changes.
Can you speak up? I'm sorry.
Was that?
Can you speak up? I can't hear you.
Oh, we had a demo a couple of weeks back. I'm developing that application. So they requested some changes, more changes. And based on the classification, they are entering multiple type of data. So maybe in a couple of weeks, we will do one more demo and see where it stands.
Just for us, for others, can you give maybe a couple of sentence update on what this application does?
This is for the Sara Richards group. There's a law, there's a state environmental quality review law. Based on that, each project must have a Seeker review completed. So different projects have multiple classification, different types of classifications, and based on each classification, like type 1, type 2, they enter multiple type of data. So we are tracking that.
So you're tracking securities.
Yes.
And will be a great reporting tool.
Yeah, they could run reports on that.
Windows 10 upgrade.
We've been, all new systems are Windows 10 1803, and I've been upgrading what I can through SCCM. Currently, we have about 370 workstations that are now at Windows 10 1803, so over half of our systems are now at that version of Windows. We still have about 225 systems that are earlier versions of Windows 10. We have 46 Windows 7 systems still out there, and we have 17 Windows XP virtual machines by your group, by Gene's group. Those are the XP machines are all virtual.
XP desktop, the current, my primary machine.
Is XP. So I mean, your group is, you guys.
Primary machine's XP.
I'm gonna move over to the
Whoa.
one.
So the only XP systems are in this room. So, but
You're gonna mine. I moved all mine to Windows 7.
Okay.
Those old apps.
But as far as upgrading through SCCM, I've done all the ones I confidently we can do. Most of the ones that are not done yet, I have secured full disk encryption or our field sites, so we still have to come up with a plan of what to do with those. But that's where we are.
For the older machines, like the Windows 7 ones, we've been waiting for new desktop computers to replace them. We were expecting them in April, just got an update this week that it's going to be May, and tentatively May. They're still struggling with the Intel processor shortage and trying to catch up. So our next update will be on May 1st. So we'll hopefully, will be a lot, hopefully it'll be in May. We're struggling processor. It's impacting the entire PC industry, not just our order through HP. Thank you, John. Rochester office, Ed is in Rochester as we speak. He emailed us an update that he wanted to share. He was there yesterday. He has the racks installed, received and installed properly. Crown Castle is in today for internet and fiber connection, so they are working with that right now as we speak. Ed is also working with Triard with cable terminations. He's working on that. And UPS is in place. The landlord has not set up the generator yet, so he's following up on that. So the electricians are currently working on wiring, and he has Crown Castle on the ground for internet connection. The only thing that's currently being delayed is the Windstream MPLS. They're targeting mid-May to be on site. We are pushing to see if we can get it sooner, continuing to work on that. And there were some delays in issuing the purchase order to Windstream. They couldn't get us the insurance information on time, and then we had some concern about the language in their forms. So that delayed our procurement by like 2 weeks. So now we're trying to catch up. We're still within the time frame needed for the site. They're currently thinking about 6/1 for earliest occupancy. They still don't have final delivery date on their furniture, so we're in a good place. They're targeting early June for furniture delivery, so the people are not going to move in until the furniture is in place. So 6/1 is almost like the earliest possible date. So even if Windstream makes 5/20, still okay. We just issued the purchase order for the firewall, and we'll be coordinating that with the site to get that in. We have all the network equipment we need. So we need the firewall and the servers to come in. Firewall PO was issued this week. The servers PO was issued like a week and a half ago, so that should be okay.
How many people are gonna be in the office, do you know?
With 20 to 25. But we are setting it up for like 25, plus a little bit more room in the conference rooms and all that. So we're targeting 25 individual people working there, right? And then allow room for visiting staff. And also remember, it's going to be a disaster recovery center, so we'll have more options for phones and computer plug-in.
And do you know who will have access to the data center part of the room? Like anybody local other than the property manager or?
No one outside DASNY would have access unless they are access
local
the property.
DASNY or?
Local DASNY, we would really like to give at least one person access there if there's a problem with the generator or UPS, because we don't have any IS people in that office. We would work with construction to have 1 or 2 backup in there too. So if we need somebody to open the door for us, there will be some help. But we will be pretty restricted.
So I would think the same access controls for here, for there, right?
Yeah.
Review, and I assume I'll review the access.
Yes. Avaya IP office, Skeeter, do you want to give an update?
Yeah, myself and Andrew met with Lou and Ann Crislip, and we discussed what their requirements are going to be. So Ann was going to finalize the paperwork for them to put out the RFQ. So Ann, can you speak to that?
Yep, I'm still working on the RFQ documentation. Our funding was approved in early April, so we have the money to move forward with procurement. The product is available in OGS contract, which makes it a lot easier. We don't have to go for open procurement. We'll reach out to only the vendors who offer this product in OGS contract. Yeah, so we are, as Skeeter said, we're working on the procurement material. And the MDs were interested, Gerard and his director folks were interested in a presentation on what the system can do, what's available, what new things we're getting. So I put together a presentation that needs to be scheduled with Gerard. So once we get through that, but that's not holding procurement, they're two different parallel tracks. But for Rochester, we've already purchased the Avaya system. So for now, Rochester will be set up before 6/1 as an independent site. And when we have the other 3 locations set up, it will be like an integrated system for 4 offices that includes Albany, New York City, Rochester, and Buffalo.
In regards to Rochester, I sent the data for the configuration of the phone system today to Ronco. They have the equipment in place out there. So they're going to start configuring it so they'll be ready to go whenever we give them the signal to get in there. And furniture's installed and jacks have been finalized. So we're almost ready to go.
Okay, good. Thank you, Skeeter.
You're welcome, man.
Field sites, so we have some summer sites coming up to support projects, and we have a lot of interns starting. And
Yeah. We have, so far, the ones that they've told us about are SUNY Brockport, SUNY Delhi, and SUNY UB Governor. So we're working on getting all the final, contacts and who from DASNY will be there. What I'm doing is I have a document I'm gonna post on our networking team site that has, all the sites, whether we're just doing a spectrum upgrade, whether they need contractor access, or whether they need a site set up either as a summer site or like in Broome DDSO, they're actually moving to a different building. So that way we'll have them all. Interns, so there's supposed to be 15, they're all starting on May 30th. We have access requests for 12 so far. Most of them are gonna be in the field. Jim has laptops ready, and we're just gonna ship them out to the, sites, as configure them and ship them out to the sites. Some of the sites already have equipment, either as transient or from last year that we can use.
Okay, thanks, Ann. Okay, the last one's not a project update, but in general, I know this is time for vacation and we have a lot of people planning their summer time off. Would be really nice if we can put your schedule in the calendar, so when we schedule meetings or plan to work on projects over a time frame, would be nice if you're if you put on your calendar your time off during summer, as this is our primary vacation time. I would appreciate that. Okay, anything else? And in future, if you would like any other department to come in as a guest speaker, you have some ideas. I was thinking of asking Real Property next. They've never come here. I was planning to talk to Jim. But if you have any ideas on anything interesting that you would like, you work with your customers as you find that something is interesting and you would like the entire team to know about it. It can be any topic, anybody from business can come in. It doesn't have to be at a certain level. So you just share that information and I'll be happy to reach out to them and work on their schedule to have them here. It's been very helpful for me to hear directly from them. Like last month we had Tim Atkins. It was nice to know what he was doing with the intergovernment affairs and what was going on in governor's office. I thought that was helpful for us. So in future, just let me know if you have something, if you hear about something interesting and you think we all will benefit from hearing from it, let me know and we'll be, Michelle or I will reach out to them to schedule. Okay? Anything else? Okay, thank you, Jim, for visiting New York City today. Thanks, Mike. Okay, have a good day. Bye-bye.